All of these things change our mood, change our desires, change our cravings, change everything about us. My name is Martin McGovern, founder and lead coach at Career Therapy. And I just got off a really great group coaching call from the Unstuck coaching program. And there were a few ideas that I wanted to share from it. One of the most interesting things that came up in our call today is the idea of the personality test black hole. I don't know if you've ever experienced the personality test black hole, but it's when you take something like the Myers-Briggs test, you download all the resources, you go through all the websites, you watch all the YouTube videos, and you just consume and consume and consume. I remember back maybe in like 2014, I think I bought the like $100 16personalities.com reflection and went through it with a highlighter, only to find out a year or two later that my type had changed because, well, I was in a different place and I thought about myself differently and I answered the question slightly differently. And these things aren't necessarily the most scientific things, especially Myers-Briggs, which kind of started as a hobby back in the day and evolved into something that's being used, maybe even discriminatorily in some ways, but it's being used a lot and it's a fun tool. I think it's great for self-reflection. It's great to get a language around the things that you're struggling with or reaching for in life, but it is by no means supposed to define you. And, I think one of the dangers of the personality test is that, we take this test, we get an answer, and then we try to mold our life into what the answer says we are. It's also something that happens with a lot of diagnoses, right? You get diagnosed with anxiety and you start to take that on as an identity. We don't want to take on your MBTI as an identity. We want to take the results and keep what's useful and maybe incorporate a few things here or there. But you are you. The test is not you. The test is an attempt to give you a language or an explanation for things that you couldn't necessarily put words to before. And so it's really helpful in that way. But, this black hole of the personality test where we just go deeper and deeper, hoping it's going to give us some magical answer that fixes everything in our lives, it's just not necessarily the most reliable, accurate, or useful tool for that magical kind of answer that we're looking for. The magic is in whatever you decide to do with the information. You are the decider, not the test. The test can maybe give you some suggestions, but at the end of the day, we have to decide. So these things can help, they can hurt. I think probably the best tests we can look at are the big five, if you've looked into that at all. The big five breaks down your personality into 5 different traits. It's extroversion, agreeableness, openness, conscientiousness, neuroticism. And I do think that the results of this test, from what I've heard and read and seen out there, tends to be the most scientific of all the tests, although I'm sure that's debatable, but it is one that gives you a pretty good sense of your emotional responses to things and why you might be acting the way that you do. I don't think it gives you many answers of what to do, but it does tell you why you're struggling so much in certain areas, or even maybe why you're succeeding in certain areas. You can also try that 16personalities.com that I mentioned. Enneagram is a fun one, and I know a lot of people like to use that too. So if you're interested in these things, definitely go check them out. But again, these are tools. These are not prescriptions. These are being used to explain things and to give you a vocabulary, not to box you in and tell you who you are. Only you know who you are. And this brings me to the next part of our discussion where we talk about comparison in our careers and the social pressure that we feel, because it is a real social pressure, right? This keeping up with the Joneses thing is real, right? We have family pressure. We have friends that we talk to that we compare ourselves to, coworkers. Someone might be making more money than you. How do we actually navigate the world in a way that this doesn't paralyze us? It doesn't make us bitter or angry or cause us to give up or anything, right? Or maybe cause us to do things that we don't want to do. Like maybe we change careers in order to make more money, only to find that new job wasn't as good as the last job. It paid more, but it's not a great environment. Or, maybe you don't like your coworkers as much, or the work isn't as satisfying, right? We have to look at all the different factors in our career when we make these changes. We can't just go, that person makes more money, now I got to go make more money and keep climbing that ladder in that way. Now, if money's the most important thing to you, by all means, know your values. But that's really what I'm trying to get down to here. Actually sit down and say, what are my values? Not what are other people's values, not what values are being put upon me, but what are my values? Maybe it's family, maybe it's fitness, maybe it's friendships. What are your values, right? Figure out what's core to you and then live your life that way. And you'll see other people living their lives according to their values. Maybe this person loves to wear Supreme designer junk that, I'm wearing my Target shirt right now, right? We're living different lives. We're going to have different looks. We're going to be different. You're going to see it. You're going to compare it. It'll be natural. But at the end of the day, if you're living to your values and you get different results because of your values, at least know that those are authentic results and not things that, I acquired a new car and I'm still feeling just as empty. And what this helps us do when we start to figure out our values is that it helps us move from this place of rumination to a place of experimentation. And I see this a lot when it comes to perfectionism, right? So when we're being perfectionistic, we can, just sit there. We can literally sit in an empty room with nothing on the walls and nothing to do and be a perfectionist. Just sit there and think of all the things that need to happen perfectly before you ever leave that room and do something. I will choose something when I have enough information. I will decide on that once I feel like once I feel exactly right about it. But the thing about our feelings is that they are constantly changing, whether it's due to hormone changes throughout the month, whether it's due to the food you're eating and how it's making you feel throughout the day, whether you're too caffeinated or not enough caffeinated, you have enough sleep or not enough sleep. All of these things change our mood, change our desires, change our cravings, change everything about us. So we are not just one stable thing that there's going to be this epiphany and that's the exact right answer. It does happen, but even when you make that decision and you have that epiphany moment, give it 10 years. You'll probably doubt certain parts of that decision, right? You'll probably go, well, I'm a little bored or plateaued here. Maybe I can go somewhere else, right? There's always something, or maybe I've spent too much time on my work and I need a hobby, right? There's all sorts of different things that happen when we try to live in this perfectionistic mindset. So what I'd encourage us to do is move from that perfectionism into experimentation, right? Instead of waiting for insight to hit you, go try things out, go experiment, go play, go have fun, go be curious, learn things, test things, do things, act your way to an answer. Don't think your way into a spiral. All right. Each time we do this and put out a new experiment, we're going to get feedback from that experiment. If you put out a thought, all you get is more thoughts. No feedback, just more rumination. But if you do something, you get hit with reality, right? I'm going to go have a conversation with a family member who keeps saying I should do X, Y, and Z. You're going to get a confrontation, and that will give you information. Either one, you need to be more assertive, you need to stand up for yourself more, or two, maybe they're even right about something. Who knows? Maybe you misinterpreted what they said, and they weren't actually saying that. They meant this, and it came from a good place and not that negative place that you interpreted it to be. We don't actually know if we're just sitting around ruminating. But we do know if we actually go out and try things. Should I do this job or that job? Go find a low risk way to do it. Maybe you can intern. Maybe you can volunteer at something that's similar to that. And that will give you feedback rather than reading a bunch of blog posts and going, is this right? I don't know. I'm just reading blog posts, right? Eventually, you're going to collect skills. And those skills are going to lead to goals, right? Now that I know my values, here's the skills I need to live those values. If friendship is a value that you hold, a skill you need to develop is time management so you can make time for friends, right? And if you start to do that time management skill, you're going to realize that it can be used in other areas in order to build bigger goals. Now that I'm really good at time management, in order to see my friends, it's making me more productive at work because I'm actually not letting things linger and I'm not procrastinating as much because I have something I want to do with my time outside of just sit here and ruminate, right? So again, we can't control the outcomes, but we can control our behavior to some extent. And we want to use personality tests as a tool, not as a box that we get stuck in. So if you're getting stuck in this personality test black hole, take a moment, step away, and move into your values and actions. Stop looking for an answer in the test. Look for an answer in yourself. If you are interested in career coaching and you would like some support in your job search, we have the Unstuck coaching program. It is a month-by-month program that has group coaching, one-on-one coaching, a curriculum, and coaching via chat. You can find all the information about it on careertherapy.com. You can even set up a free consultation with me to chat about your situation and see if it's right for you. Thank you again for watching. I wish you all the best in your job search and good luck in your career.
Left my home for this story-eyed, it's no surprise things went wrong. What was I thinking, babe? All the mistakes I made.